All right, good afternoon. This is Marty Michael again. We're going to get started. The title of today's webinar is Upgrading from ManagedPay to ActivePay 6X. If you don't have audio right now, then you obviously don't hear me, of course, but that's audio is available if you dial into the telephone number that you got when you signed in. If you have any problems or challenges during the course of this webinar, please jot this email address down and send an email to mvogel, it's M-V-O-G-E-L, at mariasystems.com, and we'll do our best to try and address that. There will be a recording of the webinar available after this session sometime within the next couple of days, so don't be too remiss if you miss part of it or if somebody comes in late. My name is Marty Michael. I'm the CEO and Chief Marketing Officer of Miria, and the goal today is to educate the audience regarding the new features and functionalities and capability of Miria's products. The audience today is really only current users of the ManagedPay products, so we're going to probably skip some things because we're assuming that most of the audience today already is aware of the product because you're already using it. That being said, we have multiple different versions across the audience. So there may be capabilities that you have in your system that you didn't institute when you first put it in that we're going to talk about today. It may sound like new, or you may take it for granted that it wasn't in there, depending on what your instance or how your instance was put together whenever you first became a ManagedPay user. So first thing I want to do, since everyone here is already active customers, I want to thank everyone and acknowledge that we wouldn't be here without you. We really appreciate all of your commitment and support of our product over the years. The focus today, just so if some of you are current users and you're not really familiar maybe who Miria is, I want to give you a quick overview. Miria has been around for 25 years. We have a lot of experience in business process automation and content enablement. ManagedPay is our flagship product. The management of accounts payable solutions is our main core and focus. But we're also help customers with all applications around business process automation, specifically in the finance, which AP is a part of, and in human resources. We today offer our solutions both on-premise and through managed services or enabled on the cloud. We work quite extensively around with IBM and their back-end systems of enterprise content management and data cap, with a lot of our clients, but we're not exclusive to that, but we do focus a lot around customers who are already using those platforms. We pride ourselves on speed and agility, being able to meet our customers' needs, to be able to deploy the solutions quickly and help our customers get a very rapid return on investment. And product-wise, I think everyone here is already educated to what our products are, so we're going to jump right into it. Now, a snapshot of our customers. We do have customers in several different sectors, but our biggest customer base is around financial services and around retail or CPG. And this has been expanding quite rapidly, especially over the last 3 years as our product has continued to get acceptance and gain adoption. And we continue to add to our portfolio of customers. And this is not exclusive. There may be customers that are not listed or that are listed on here that are not listed on here that are also customers. But this is just a snapshot of the industries that we focus on. So we're going to jump right into it now, and we're going to talk about our products going forward. And part of the reason why we're having this conversation today is we did rename our product line, and we want to make sure that we communicate to you what those changes are. But we're going to talk today about Active Finance, which is ActivePay version 6, which is a derivative of what most of the existing customers on the line today have ManagedPay, either version 4 or version 5. So branding in new for 2014, we have expanded our product line to be both on-premise, which a lot of the people looking at the list of attendees today are using today, an on-premise solution. We now offer it both on-premise and through as a managed service. And as I said, we renamed our products, so we have a suite of different applications today that all come under the mantra of Active Ops, which is short for Active Operations. And those then fall into the category of either Active Finance or Active HR. Today in this presentation, we're going to focus on the different applications that are available as part of Active Finance. Our focus as an organization is to work with companies and help them improve their collaboration and automate their business processes. We do this with Active Ops, which is a cloud-ready software solution. It's offering a suite of financial and human resources applications, all available through an internet or a browser-based solution that allows different people between corporate, field locations, and stores if you're a retailer, or branch offices if you're in financial or insurance, and allows them all to collaborate back and forth, share information, approve things that they need to approve, and streamline the overall process. Our vision really is that we enable our customers and empower them and help them collaborate. They're going to be able to improve the overall cooperation and management of information across their geographically distributed locations, and then hopefully turn that into improved profitability, improved customer support, and help them ensure customer satisfaction to their end clients. All of our products that we talk about here fit into the world of allowing our organizations to automate business processes. We don't replace back-end corporate accounting systems. Our AP solutions don't replace what you get out of Oracle or SAP or Great Plains. We actually complement that. Our goal is to provide a real-world interface that's going to work for the non-accountant, for the managers and the business leaders out there, to be able to interact back and forth with corporate accounting and corporate finance in order to manage the process. We simultaneously support multiple ERPs or accounting systems from many of our companies. This is important today as a lot of our customers are growing through mergers and acquisitions, and they may have Lawson in one place, they may have SAP under one company, they may have different business units that have their own financial systems, and our systems allow us to automate the departmental AP solutions back and forth between stores and locations and branch offices, and work with multiple back-end accounting systems at the same time. If you're using ManagedPay today, you know it is a rules workflow-based system. It's rules-driven, so we can tailor it for specific customer needs as well as specific industry needs. And, it has a very high return on investment. And as we talk today to educate you to some of the features and functionalities in the system, what we would do is invite you to think about how you might be able to utilize the applications you already have in place and expand it further through a simple upgrade. So under the heading of Active Finance, there are 3 specific applications now offered within this, within what you will look at as ManagedPay. There's, first of all, is ActivePay, which is a direct replacement for the accounts payable functionality. We also offer ActiveExpense, which is a modular expansion of the system. And we also offer something called ActiveLedger, which we'll talk a little bit more detail about that, but it's, again, the goal of ActiveLedger is really to help automate business processes for complex journal entries and help our customers with their accounting close. For the most part today, because this is directed all towards ManagedPay customers, we're going to talk almost exclusively about accounts payable and to some degree expenses, because it's a direct relation to that there. So when I talk about the Active Financial platform itself, what is currently in place for everyone that's on the phone today is ManagedPay. And what we're talking about when we talk about ActivePay and Active Finance, it includes all the updates from prior versions of ManagedPay. So if you move to ActivePay 6.0, rest assured that all your customizations and change are going to be able to move right over to the new platform. It's fully backward compatible, so we don't need to change your back-end data or anything else. Everything is still going to be there. As a matter of fact, it's a fairly unobtrusive change by the way we've architected it and designed it. So, if you want to think about what you've got to do to change this. We'll work with you offline in terms of helping planning that migration. But understand it's something that can be done rather easily. It does separate applications into different modular web modules for improved performance, customization, security, and management. So if you move to ActivePay 6.0 from ManagedPay 4 or 5 and you've had it for a while, you might see a dramatic improvement in overall improved performance depending on how much data you've got. It's fully deployable both on-premise, hosted, and hybrid. We have several customers who have been using ManagedPay for maybe a division of their company or for corporate and haven't rolled it out to the field for differing reasons. If that's your case, we might be able to talk about the ability to keep what you have in place, upgrade it, and extend out to local or to remote offices by offering the hosted version of it in tandem or as a hybrid solution. And the ActivePay 6.0 does include a vendor portal, what we call our Active Portal Standard Edition. It has very basic functionality that allows your vendors and end users to start interacting with the AP department through the same application interface and sharing the same information, obviously, though, very, very secure and very filtered for them to only see what they're supposed to. And we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. For the few IT people on the phone, a block diagram of what this looks like is if you look on the right side, the content engine, which supports the storage and retrieval and management of documents, is still utilizing the same back-end infrastructure around the FileNet ECM infrastructure, and the application framework that we have inside of ActivePay 6.0 still delivers the applications out to the end users. And we look at this, if you look in the left side of the block on this diagram, you'll see that there are different functionalities we're talking about here in terms of travel expenses and general ledger, and the way we segment that out and for management and get the improved performance is just by offering those as separate applications in that application layer. For the business users on the line, you don't really need to care about this, but I think it's helpful to give you an architectural overview idea of what the changes are. So maybe some of the most important thing is that licensing. The way we've structured ActivePay 6 version 6 is that it's a one-to-one. If you already have per-user licenses for ManagedPay, then it translates on a one-to-one basis. There's no licensing uplift cost for you to get this additional functionality for the existing users. It's one user in ManagedPay equals one user in Active Finance, and Active Finance now will include travel and expense and the ledger close management as part of that. Now, if you move to travel expenses, you might need to add the number of users, of course, but if you've already got a large number of approvers and working through the way many of our customers are, chances are you have no licensing upgrades or updates to change if you make this migration. I've mentioned a couple times that the new solution and platform is available both as a hosted option and on-premise. And on the hosted option, we offer that we can offer it through Amazon Web Services if that's part of your corporate strategy to move things into Amazon. We also offer it through IBM directly on the IBM software hosting model. And then with Integrity, which is a large partner, we're doing several installations for customers on a hosted model through their KC Online infrastructure. So there's several options to be able to either migrate your solution to an online option or to add to it or to run hybrid, as I mentioned before. So let's kind of get into the core functions. I know there are many different AP managers and AP directors that live and die in the system every day. We're not going to do a direct demonstration of the system today. We're going to reserve that for people who want to have a private demonstration, and we'll allow you to schedule that, and we'll do a one-on-one WebEx specifically around your functionality and get more into the details of the system. Today what I'm going to talk about is give you an overview. The first thing that we did with the ActivePay 6 version is we've cleaned up the interface a lot. This is just a simple snapshot. You'll see we've gone to more of a modern, flat look in terms of the overall navigation. The speed, as I said, has been greatly improved. A lot of capabilities and functionality you're familiar with as far as being able to search from the left-hand pane, all of that still exists. The modern flat styling and the cues and the different inbox or the different groupings that you see on the left, we've improved that somewhat in order to be able to allow more functionality. So this is all perfectly configurable during your installation to match up how your user roles are going to be. All of the functionality that you have, as I said today, is in the system, and towards the end of this discussion, I'm going to walk down some details of the functions, so please be patient with that. Here's a snapshot of the approval inbox. As we've said, what's gone is the blue-green screens that we've had from the past years. If you want to talk a little bit about high-level functionality and what's new and active, the Active Finance 6.0, first of all, advanced expense management. So if you need to manage travel expenses, and whether you're doing that through paper today or maybe an offline system, you now have the capability to do that right in the ActivePay solution in the same desktop that you use today. The advanced ledger close management, those two modules are now integrated to the system. We now support the latest versions of IBM FileNet and their web application system, our service 8.5. We also allow P-card process management. A lot of our customers over the last couple of years have implemented purchasing cards, and by integrating purchasing card feed from the provider into the system, we can manage approvals, payments, and get the same level of accountability that we get for AP around purchasing cards all through the same interface. In addition, many of our customers are now using EDI to a much greater capability, so we support that directly out of the system today so that EDI invoices are coming in. Now, some of you may already have this functionality in some of your instances that may have been deployed either on a custom basis, but everything that I'm talking about today is what's now standard in the process, which is important because it's now supported as a standard function going forward as opposed to a custom feature. We can also manage cash advance and prepaid card workflows. So if you have a remote location that is doing cash advance requests, that type of request goes through the same task management approval process in the same interface. We have out-of-office functionality for the approvers. If an approver is going to be unavailable, they can check a box and it'll get rerouted to whoever their designee is. Auto approval escalation through Active Directory. Many of our customers, we're syncing all of their user groups in from their LDAP systems so that as supervisors and managers and approval levels change, there's no need to implement that in our system as well as their other systems, because we can sync right with your main corporate LDAP, assuming you're using it that way. There's many other functions here, and I'll kind of hit some of the highlights without reading everything. But, we've improved the exception process management. We have preferred GL code assignment so that if you've got a long general ledger accounting code list and you have some that you use a lot, we can filter that for you much quicker. You have the ability to search and your queries as you always have, but now you have the ability to save searches that you repeat and bring that up. We support Excel uploads and downloads. So if you sometimes get a list of invoices or vouchers or something from a vendor or someone that's in an Excel spreadsheet, you can now click and upload those directly into the system from the desktop as opposed to asking IT for support. Many other things here. I'm going to talk through a little bit of this more in a few moments, but these are all some of the high-level functionality capabilities that are available in version 6.0, and if you don't see something specifically here, what we'd invite you to do is just ask questions, and we'll, after the session or privately with your account rep, and we'll certainly be able to answer where that's at on our roadmap. A little bit, since the three new things that are new in the system for most of our customers are expenses and ledger and vendor portal. I'm going to show a couple screens around that. So for Active Expense, we have users that are actually using it for all expense management, meaning that the field users, the travelers, so to speak, are logging in and uploading, their expenses and receipts directly into the system so that the process goes through similar workflows that you would for invoice management and gets paid. We do also work in some customers with an interface with the credit card providers like an American Express, so that if you have a corporate travel card and that information can be downloaded right in the system so that the traveler can sign right in, and all of those particular instances around the corporate card are already there, and all they have to do is match and upload the receipts to it. So we worked really hard to reduce data entry. But the big value for the company here is this is all now going through the same process. You get the same visibility. You get the similar approval system that you're all used to in working with ManagedPay. This is just a quick screenshot here of the expense report entry screen. We have the obvious things in here as far as being able to assign your particular GL classifications to them, and it's not difficult if you're using an electronic expense management system today to make this leap and understand how that works. Now, with Active Ledger, this is really cool. We had several customers that asked us to implement instances of ManagedPay to be able to automate their journal entry process. And what we ended up doing was making it a standard functional feature, which is what we're talking about here today. A lot of customers have, complex journal entries, which today they put in on Excel spreadsheets. They send them around corporate. They get approvals for them, and then it comes back and they pay somebody to type them in. And some of our customers recognize that, hey, I already have this system that allows us to take these entries and post them right into my accounting system after you go through a process. So how would we work that in ManagedPay? So we built this in cooperation with some customers and out in the field. And, here's a simple snapshot of what that might look like. Again, you could upload this right from an Excel spreadsheet, and then eliminate the spreadsheet and use it for use the ActivePay application now to route that for approval and adjustments, so that you make sure that all of your transactions are streamlined in terms of these complex journal entries. And then you have the ability to save those entries. If it's a recurring monthly or recurring quarterly entry that you need to make, you can save that in the system. Obviously, come back in and make minor adjustments without rehandling the whole thing again. But that's essentially what Active Ledger is, and it's available behind the scenes in the new version of ActivePay. There is some configuration that has to be done based on the particular client, but that's available to you if you're interested in it. Of most interest to most of our customers, and what's really hot today, is Supplier Portal. Now, Supplier Portal talks really about the fact that you have an interaction that goes on between accounts payable and the corporate finance and the vendors out in the world, the suppliers, the people who sent you the invoices in the first place. And in today's world, what is really hot is what's called supplier financing or supplier side discounting. And what you want to be able to do is to provide an interaction back and forth between your supplier and your accounts payable department. The other thing that's going on is most of us are being quite conscious of the number of phone calls that come in to accounts payable. Is my invoice in the system? Has it been approved yet? Did you get it? Is there any issues? Where's it at in the cycle? When will the payment be made? Those are all questions that typical AP customer departments are spending their time answering on the phone. And what the Supplier Portal does is it actually opens up a user group for the vendor itself that deploys basic functionality and allows a supplier to sign in and do some very basic things. First off, they can do an inquiry on their own invoice. When I sign in, if I'm a supplier selling to, a particular instance here, if I sign in, I'm only going to see my invoices, of course. They're not into the whole of the system, but they can check the status of it. They can create an invoice in there. A lot of our customers are really trying to push their suppliers to stop mailing invoices or stop emailing them, and they want them to go into the portal and upload that invoice. So that capability is there. The request for dynamic discounting. Now, dynamic discounting is really about, hey, I've got an invoice Mr. Customer, that I sent you, I see in the system that's approved for payment, it's not ready to pay for another 10 days, but I happen to need the cash today. If I give you another 3% discount, will you pay that, 6 days, 7 days early? And that's basic functionality that a lot of customers are really trying to interact between their suppliers to get the best availability or get the best discounts and save a little bit more money. In addition to that, the portal becomes the messaging inbox to get away from email and that. So you can send messages directly back and forth between the supplier and the particular AP person assigned to that. You can be sure that the right AP person for the right supplier gets the message, and you're not spending time bouncing emails around behind the scenes. The basic, on the screenshot here right now, the basic vendor portal menu has only that functionality that I discussed. We found that customers ask us also to add in their change of address, maybe some different miscellaneous questions. So this is configurable. If you have vendors where they change a lot, or you have vendors that you have interactions with where common themes, if you've implemented ManagedPay, you know that it's very highly configurable, so we can tailor these questions and these inboxes, and so that you can streamline different types of functions between your suppliers and your corporate departments. But that's available, again, also in ActivePay 6.0. It does require some configuration to put it out, and because many of the people that I see online today aren't using this functionality today. Again, the best thing to do would be to follow up and get more detail from your account manager, or you can send an email to me directly, and I'll be certain to follow up with you on that. This is just a copy of the portal message center, that if a supplier signed in there, we could give them for information, on when this invoice is posted. And sometimes I forget that some people have been using ManagedPay for a long time. For many of our customers today, we're not only providing invoice status, but we get directly feedback from the accounting system of we did get approval to pay the invoice, but we've also written a check for it. The check's going to go out on X date, and this is the check number. All of that information can now be brought back from the accounting system, and then utilizing ActivePay, provide that directly, that feedback directly to the supplier, so that they're not calling somebody to ask those very basic questions. So, that's a summary of things. I'm going to get a little more detailed 30 minutes into this in terms of some functionality, and then, as I said, this is available from your account reps afterwards. So when you look at the customers that we have online today, pretty much everyone is using version ManagedPay 5, and there are a few people I see here that have version 4. We've made some big updates in terms of invoice capture capabilities. If you looked at line item detail capture, 4 years ago, and you may have opted out of it, it's something that's more standard and available today. The e-invoice input, the travel expense input, all of those get handled through the system very similar to before, and we can capture those things. Invoice processing, I've mentioned some of this stuff already, but we look at special interest groups like tax, customer service, and facilities often want their own views so that invoices that are specific to tax issues or customer service or facilities can get filtered out, and you can provide a facilities manager, for example, only view in the invoices they need to see. That's available. The LDAP hierarchy sync back and forth for user changes in the system is available, as well as many of the other things that we've talked about. But again, I can provide these charts to you which have more detail. The reporting, the big thing in the reporting, or I shouldn't say big thing, but the main thing in the reporting that's new for many people is email alerts around active work. We've greatly improved the capabilities to ensure that you've got full follow-up on things. The standard reporting database and audit trail and supporting document attachments have always been there. We now have the ability to attach multiple documents to different transactions and invoices. That functionality may not have been available depending on when you implemented it. The validation actions have been somewhat improved. We've always had duplicate invoice checking, but we also allow much simpler out-of-the-box two-way matching and three-way matching for PO to invoice to receipts, or PO to invoice for two-way matching. These are all functionality that you may have looked at and opted out at a prior time, but they're capabilities that can be implemented in the system much faster and much simpler today. Expense reporting we've talked about already, and I won't go into much more detail on that other than I will tell you that the corporate credit card, interfaces that we're doing, we have customers using American Express. It's pretty common, and that greatly improves the process in the field. And I know everyone here is on the expense side and the finance side, but we all know the challenges of getting people in the field to turn in things on time and accurately. And when we can bring in all this information directly from that credit card feed and eliminate all that data entry, what most customers see is it streamlines the process, things become much more timely, and it makes everybody's life a lot simpler. So, vendor portal, dynamic discounting, this chart's available. We've talked about it already. I won't go into more detail on it right now. Last two slides here to discuss in the changes. Integration support, again, a little bit more towards the IT group of the new platforms we support, FileNet 5.0, 5.1, and IBM FileNet 5.2 now. We can handle purchase order header and line information between your purchase order system, and we've gotten pretty creative in terms of general ledger codes and how we handle those back and forth. So a lot of customers are changing their GL coding systems because they need to feed their analytics system, and we have improved our ability to be able to match what's going on in the world of accounting for that. And, last few things here on other great features that's available. We do offer a PDF conversion tool in the system now, so if you need to create PDFs document directly out of it, you can. There is a data archival process and procedures that we make available. If you've had the system in place for a while, you may find that your data keeps growing and growing, and we do recommend, archiving some of that at some point, and we have the capability now to help you with that. We're also supporting IBM Content Navigator. If you're an IBM ECM house outside of the utilizing of the system and you're implementing Content Navigator, which is a new application interface by IBM, you know that it allows some pretty cool features as far as search capabilities. It allows annotations or sticky notes, if you will, to be able to add to every document. And we have that capability now is available out of the box in ActivePay 6.0. We found that although the ActivePay task manager is pretty good as far as allowing you to comment and send information back for approvals, what it doesn't offer is the same functionality you get when you put a sticky note on an invoice and draw a circle around it and point to a specific item and allow when you're asking that manager, what is this line item for, as opposed to having to type all that detail out. And a lot of our customers have gotten a great value out of that functionality. We've mentioned that we are now cloud deployable, and we are available through managed services to the partners that we mentioned before. We also fully support virtual machine for your IT groups, and we support IBM DB2 in the newest release version that'll be out in September of this year, just another few weeks. And with that, what I would emphasize is to schedule a live demonstration. Please contact your account manager or send an email to me. Please write that down, mmichael@mariasystems.com. We'd be glad to set up a demonstration for you. We'd be glad to go through a feature function comparison to discuss things that you have today and what's the value. We're not dropping support for ManagedPay at all. I don't want anybody to get that indication. So we're going to continue supporting, the version 5, on a schedule here for the next 2 or 3 years for sure, but we do believe that there are tremendous benefits by updating to ActivePay 6.0, and we want to emphasize that there's no additional licensing costs to do that. In fact, you're paying maintenance. You're already paying for all of that, so it would be wise to take advantage of that capability and that new performance, even if you don't want to take advantage of the new functionality that's available in the system. At this point, if there are any questions, I want you to please send an email in, and it doesn't look like we've received any particularly in here today. And but if you have any questions and follow up from today's discussion, please send them over to my address or Megan Vogel's address, and we'll get back to you right away. That's it. We're about 40 minutes in. I appreciate your time today. Hopefully we've been able to provide you some feedback that helps you to understand what we're doing with the product. And I really appreciate your business and your continued support of Miria Systems. And we welcome the opportunity to continue our relationship. Thank you, and have a great day.